And welcome to Motion RC. I'm your product specialist, Wesley, from here at motionrc.com, and today we are checking out the newest installment aircraft in our line of mini aircraft. These are 800mm size aircraft that run on a small LiPo battery. These are made to be nice, economical aircraft that fly really well right out of the box with not a lot of setup. So today we're going to be checking out the Corsair. If you haven't already checked it out though, we do have an A1 Skyraider and a Hawker Tempest also available now, and they're really cool. We have assembly videos and flight videos for those also. But without further ado, let's start getting into the box. Let's check out how these little planes come packaged and get this one put together. All right, pilots, now that you've got your aircraft out of the box and laid out on the table, first thing we're gonna do is set the aircraft up in a flight stand. In my case, what I find is the Benchcraft mini and micro aircraft stand is really nice for these smaller aircraft. It just allows you to be able to move the aircraft into a lot of different orientations without damaging it. It holds it for you while you're trying to install the wings and such. So if you don't have one of these, they're real cheap. When you go to buy your airplane, go in and pick one of these little guys up too. It's gonna make your life a lot easier. Now for step one, we're gonna vary off of the manual just a little bit, because what I wanna be able to do is put the tail on and power up the aircraft to center all my servos, because what you'll see on the inside here, there's actually a little grub screw that holds the steerable tail wheel and the rudder that you can make adjustments before you put the wing on. So that's why I want to do this first, so that we don't have to take the wing back off to make that adjustment. It's just going to make it a lot easier. Now, in the case of this aircraft, I'm going to be using a Lemon 6-channel receiver. These are available here at motionrc.com and are compatible with DSMX transmitters. So if you want to use one of these in your aircraft, go on and pick one of these up at the time you're ordering it. They're nice and inexpensive, and these have been bulletproof for me, flying them in a lot of different models here lately. So what I'm going to get this done is take all the wires and plug them in. If you get the Lemon RX, they're actually labeled throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, and all of the ends of your wires are going to be labeled the same way. So you just need to go on and line those up and plug them in each one by one. And then we're going to bind this up to the receiver. All right, so now that we have the receiver plugged in, it's time to bind it to the aircraft. Now, I did go on ahead and put a zip tie in here also. That's gonna make it easy for us to attach this receiver once it's all bound up. So we have our ailerons and everything plugged in. We're gonna now take and put a bind plug in the aircraft. It comes with your Lemon RX. Then we're going to take our 1000 milliamp 3S LiPo battery, plug the aircraft in, grab a hold of it just in case it were to run, bind, all right, first thing we're going to do is set up a throttle cut before we go any further. Throttle cut is active. Okay, so the reason I powered everything up first is now we know all of our controls are actually centered. That way, when we put our control surfaces on here in a second, we just line everything up and we're good to go. So, we can unplug for right now, remove the bind plug, and we're going to put our aileron wires off of the receiver down through the bottom. It comes with a Y harness, and we're going to stick those all the way in. And I just wanted to give you that final look at how the receiver install came out. So that gives me this very clean look. I cut this hole just a little bit bigger so that this guy would fit through there for my power lead. And then underneath, as you can see, I have my two aileron leads. And then my spaghetti can duck right up in here away from the servos, and everything's nice and clean underneath the aircraft. All right, so now we're ready to start gluing our elevator and our rudder onto the aircraft. Now, if you have any of the free wing glue that comes with a lot of our models, this is a great time to use that. If not, when you're ordering the aircraft, you might go in and get you some Benchcraft thin CA. Now, if you're gonna do the CA method, the way you would do it is put a little bit down inside, push it on, and then we can run around the outside. Now, what I'm gonna do this time is a combination of both. This is gonna make it a little faster for me and an extremely strong bond. Now, I've already gone on ahead and just pushed that on there to make sure it fits. So what I'm gonna go on and do is smear a little bit of my free wing glue, or if you have foam tack, any kind of this rubber contact cement, we're gonna take that and just kind of put it around this little guy right here. Like so. Then we're gonna push this down into that little hole. Now, for the fact that I'm gonna be kind of juggling this airplane around and we're trying to get it done, what I can do now to just make it hold, there's a little crack here and a little crack here. Put a little dot of thin CA in there. That'll run down inside and hold that all day while it dries. And for good measure, we can flip the aircraft over. We've got glue coming out. That looks good. Now we need to install our rudder. All right, now that our elevator's installed, you'll see our rudder has this little interesting contraption coming out the bottom of it. That's gonna line up with a piece inside the fuselage to attach it to the steering tiller arm on the steerable tail wheel. What we need to do is apply our glue right here on this wooden piece, which we can do now. So let's take some of that, smear our glue on. Smear some more right there. Now we can take it and key it down into that hole. Like so. And you can just test it by just kind of moving this for a second and you'll see that rudder moving. So we're good. We want to just let that all dry up. Once again, for the sake of the video and just getting it done, we can take a little thin, run it down in that crack. That'll hold that on there for us while we finish. Now, here's why we installed our electronics first. At this point, we can power the model. And check everything. Now, our rudder and our tail wheel are very close to center. But to make them perfect, we can simply flip the aircraft over, grab us a 1.5 millimeter Allen key, loosen it off, get everything straight, and tighten it up. There we go. While we also have the aircraft upside down, we can take our ball link right here on the back and check to see if that's close. We have a little bit of down elevator if we look at it from the side. So what we need to do is screw our ball link out a few turns. 1, 2. Hold it on there and look. Real close. Now we just simply need to snap them on. I like to use a set of ball link pliers, makes it just a little bit easier. Like that. Now we can make sure it's working. And it is. Very cool. All right, we can unplug the model now. And it's time to install the wing while we're here upside down. All right, so now that we've set the fuselage off to the side and that's drying, it's time to get our wing assembled. Now, when you get yours, there's this piece of white foam in the box that's actually holding the wing on in the box. Take that out, and this is a great place to set our wing while we put it together and our fuselage is drying. The way you're gonna put this together, if you want to belly land, leave it clean like it is, because if you land on all the missiles and things, you're going to just break them off. So I would just leave it clean in that case. Now, if you're going to put the wheels on and be able to take off and land like I'm going to, you can put all the stuff on there and not be a problem. Take your wheels and make sure that your wheel is facing the outside of the aircraft. Simple as just pushing that guy in there like that, and taking our other one and pushing it in there like that. Then you have your included baggie of hardware. You're going to have those 3 screws. You only need 2 of them, but you get some extras. Same thing, you get an extra grub screw. Keep those in the bag for now for safekeeping. Now we can grab our Benchcraft screwdriver and put the screws in that hold our landing gear. Just like so. Now we need to install all the ordnance on the aircraft. You have 2 drop tanks, and then you have 8 missiles total. We're going to start with these drop tanks. What you'll see is there is a wire notch cut out in the drop tank. What we need to do is simply slide these down and make sure they go over that wire. Perfect, just like that. Same thing, right like that. Now, if you want, you can use, like I said, a type of contact cement, but in my case, I really like the thin CA. It just runs down in there and sets off really quick, so I'm gonna take that and just run it around the outside, and that will flow down where it needs to go. Just like so. Now we can grab our missiles. And you'll see there's actually a little pad right here where the missiles actually are going to glue to. Now, once again, you can either use your contact cement, but in my case, I'm going to take a little bit of my thin, and we're going to run that right into those cracks. Now we can do our next set of missiles. On to the other side now. Now, I do see that our sticker is right here. If you got a good sharp X-Acto knife, let's go on and cut that little pad out. Like so. As you can see, I just cut that little pad out of the star where our missiles are going to go. And same as before. Ta-da. Ta-da. All right, so now that we have that all put together on our wing, it's time to install our wing on the aircraft. So we just need to simply grab the 2 aileron wires that are coming out of the wing, plug them in to the Y harness that we plugged in earlier. Yellow plugs into white. Remember, white or yellow are always your signal colors on RC models. Once we've done that, we want to make sure as we're putting the wing on to keep all the wires folded down nicely inside of the aircraft. Then clip in the front of the wing. Make sure no wires are up inside. And seat the wing. Now in your assorted baggie, you have this very long Phillips screw. That's going to go in from the top. Then thread into the aircraft to hold the wing on. Don't worry about getting this extremely, extremely tight. We just want to bring it down till it touches right about there, and then give it about 3 extra turns and stop. It'll start to deform the foam if you're getting it too strong. That gets that part done. Now, back here on the back of the turtle deck, you'll see there's a little hole where we can put this antenna in. Now, it would definitely stay in just by friction fit, so if you want to be able to take that in and out for flights and not tear it up, it is definitely tight enough to do that, or you can give that a drop of glue. The other cool thing is when you buy yours, it's going to come with this piece of Velcro here. If you're using our 1000 milliamp 3S batteries, that piece of Velcro goes right on the back. and it's the same direction on all of our models. So if you get the batteries and get them set up, the piece inside the aircraft already comes pre-installed with the grip side. The fluffy goes on the battery, so you can slide that in there and lock these batteries in place. All right, pilots, now before we go fly, the last thing we need to check is our control direction. So let's plug the aircraft in now. Tuck everything down inside. And I always tell you to do this from behind the aircraft. Now for this situation, I'm gonna just turn it towards the camera for you. But if I go to the left on my rudder, you can see the rudder is going to the right. So we need to reverse that channel. So I'm going to reverse the rudder channel. So now if I go to the left, I have left rudder, and to the right, I have right rudder. Now we'll check our elevator. So when I pull back on the stick towards me, you should see the elevator come up, which we do. And down. Now we're going to check the ailerons. When I go to the left aileron should go up, and it does. And when I go to the right aileron should go up, as it does. One other thing that's always a good thing to do with these small models is go on and do a throttle calibration. So we need to turn our throttle cut off where the aircraft would be powered. Then we're going to take our throttle stick, set it all the way to 100%, plug the aircraft in and hold on to it just in case it were to run. Listen for 2 beeps, then bring our throttle stick to 0. That calibrates our end point of our top and our bottom of our throttle channel. Looks good. Now we can unplug and button this thing up. So pilots, that gets the little Corsair put together. Here's the other models that are available right now in the line. Like I said, there's an A1 Skyraider. We now have the Corsair, and we have the Hawker Tempest. All really good looking little aircraft that I think a lot of guys are gonna be really happy with. I have flown both of these models already and really been enjoying them. What I'll tell you is if you wanna know what I do for my dual rates and my expo settings, check out the flight video of the Corsair coming out soon. Same thing for the Tempest and the A1 Skyraider. If you're interested in any of my radio settings, we'll cover that stuff in the actual flight videos after I've flown it a few times. So guys, as always, whether it's air, land, or sea, you can get it here at Motion RC, and we can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye guys.